TNCRadio.Live, your commercial driver navigation station.
Good afternoon. This is TNCRadio.Live, and this is the Truckers Network Radio Show with your host, Shelley Johnson.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Yes, this is the Truckers Network Radio Show on TNCRadio.Live, where we offer the entertainment, sports, weather, traffic, news, and information that commercial drivers want to hear. As we all know, professional drivers work super hard, and Real Women in Trucking is doing a great job to recognize our women drivers with several awards. Today, we're featuring the group's 2021 President's Choice Trucking Industry Trailblazer Award winners, Jess and Brita Nowak. We have Jess and Brita with us today, as well as Idella Hansen from Real Women in Trucking. Welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Idella, did you want to talk first about the Trailblazer Award before I chat with Jess and Brita?
Absolutely. The Trucking Industry Trailblazer Award is an award that's picked as a presidential pick. And it's recognizing outstanding individuals that have served in the trucking industry with distinction, dedication, and professionalism. These are women that are unafraid to put their faces out there when there's a problem, when there's an issue. These are women that mentor and give good advice, and are willing to go the last mile. I was one of the first recipients of the Trailblazer Award, and it was quite heartening, and we've had several since then. And all of these ladies are to be commended. They are truly trailblazers in the industry. And I think Brita and Jess, and I've known them for a couple of years, are fine examples of trucking and trail. I get it wrong, Idella, of course. Trucking Industry Trailblazer Award. And we're proud that they got it, and we're going to be proud to see them in Las Vegas.
Your group also has the Queen of the Road Awards, which we talked about yesterday. And it's wonderful that you're giving this recognition, because it's an inspiration, I think, for new drivers. And it really does help recognize everybody who's worked so very hard. I don't think people get that enough. And I think it's really awesome. I was looking at the background of Jess and Brita. You're amazing ladies.
Thank you.
Who wants to go first? Because I'm sure everybody wants to learn a little bit more about you. Jess or Brita?
I mean, I can go first. Or
okay. Sure. Not a problem. Jess, I was looking, when you first started, you actually homeschooled. You had your daughter with you on the road?
I did. I actually got into trucking to get out of an abusive relationship. I needed a way to put some distance and be able to take care of my daughter. Mm-hmm. And so I went to CDL school. I did my training, and then I went and picked her up and grabbed her, told the state of Michigan that I'm homeschooling her, and we took off, in the truck. It was an interesting experience. We got to see and learn a lot. I think she's been to 43 states now, in the truck. Mm-hmm. And, we'd be rolling down the road, and she'd have a math problem that she was working on. And so she'd write it with dry erase mark on the windshield, and we'd walk through it as I'm clocking miles, and spelling test again, side window,
Oh, how cool. You were pretty innovative. So your chalkboard was your windshield.
It was, we had limited space. So, you have to learn to innovate and figure out what is really necessary, mm-hmm. And what how to make dual purpose of things,
Absolutely.
I think she enjoyed drawing pictures for cars and trucks on the side window when she was done with her schoolwork. And I remember the Halloween that year, she dressed up, but she wasn't sure where she was going to trick or treat. And my dispatcher actually sent us to a Hershey factory to deliver. Oh, and she hopped out and had her pillowcase, and everybody knows her. She gives out a candy bar when drivers pull up. But the guard opened his drawer, cleaned out his drawer into her bag, and she hopped in. One stop, one big giant pillowcase of candy, and she was gone.
Bonus. That's pretty cool.
Those are those little memories we have of being together in the truck.
Well, you'd get to know each other better. I'm sure that there were challenges there because you're in tight quarters and all of that. But what determination it took from you to be able to do that and also homeschool. I mean, you were doing double duty driving down the freeway.
Absolutely. But it wasn't impossible. And I think nowadays that was, 9 years ago when we didn't have as good of computers and mobile devices. Right. Nowadays, I think it's even more of a possibility for moms to do it because they have public school K through 12 online for every state has it, and it's free, and you log on as long as you have data, and you can do your schoolwork through the state. There's a lot more availability of programs that can help with the homeschooling process. So moms, if they want to get mobile and hit the road, they can.
This is a wonderful example for other mothers that are thinking, hey, I'd like to do this, and this would be really good money for me, and I can support my family. You're proof that this can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. She is now a sophomore at Wayne State University.
Excellent.
And yeah, she and I had a lot of time to grow and develop, and it gave me the chance to provide not only a roof over her head, because when you're leaving and you leave with the shirt on your back, you have nowhere to turn.
Right.
And so I was able to work and get my feet underneath me and still make sure that she was safe and cared for. And I think that was the most important.
You've been quite an advocate too for women and minorities and lots of drivers. This is, did you want to talk a little bit about that? Because that's really tremendous.
Oh, I mean, I have a lot to say about the industry and what's going on, and I'm not afraid to say it. I think that me being an advocate for myself has helped give me the courage to stand up for others that might not know how to go about it at this moment. And I hope that by being able to say, hey, this is not right for whatever's going on, or we need this, a lot of times the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And so when you have to, make sure that you advocate for yourself, you're actually doing it for everybody.
Sure you are. Absolutely. And that gives other people inspiration and hope. Maybe that's the big thing. They realize that there could be change, and they have other people that are behind them. I mean, you're being champion. You're a champion for other drivers.
Absolutely. I think that when we all band together, of course, our voice is so much stronger. But I think that giving another driver the opportunity to hear what you have to say or see you standing up for yourself, it does give them the courage to say, hey, you know what, I'm going through this too. Let's go through it together, or let's figure out a solution together.
And you're leading by example.
I hope so. At the end of the day, I just want to do the best I can for myself and my family and my company. And if it encourages somebody else, then I'm happy if, helping offer, letting people know how I did it, what didn't work, what did work, questions to ask when you're looking at, getting into this industry or making a change within the industry. I think that's pretty much, if you can learn from my expensive or heartbreaking experiences and not go through them, then it was worth it for me to actually have to go through it so that you can skip that.
kind of paying it forward, but you're giving a wonderful example for people. And everybody needs some inspiration to say, I can do this. If Jess can do this, I can do this too. And that's so super important.
And I always say when I grow up, I want to be Idella. And I think, Brita is actually one of my most encouragers. And I'm following behind Brita. I just want
Brita's got quite a background too. And I can't wait to talk to her about her background as a driver. But this is a lot of fun. You guys are all trailblazers. Idella, Brita, Jess, this is great. And that's what we need in the industry, absolutely, and especially for women. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.Live. I'm Shelley Johnson here with Tom Kelly. We'll be back with more coming up.
This blog is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. Truckers Against Trafficking can help fight modern-day slavery. Human trafficking is a real and frightening issue in the United States. It's a crime that forcefully exploits women, men, and children. Human trafficking involves transporting a person into a situation of exploitation, which can include forced labor, marriage, or prostitution. The term exploitation in this sense is commonly referred to as modern slavery. At this time, it's estimated that there are 20 to 40 million human trafficking victims internationally. According to the ACLU, the United States Department of State estimates that 14 to 17,000 people are trafficked into the United States each year. Truckers Against Trafficking exists to educate, equip, empower, and mobilize members of the trucking, bus, and energy industries to combat human trafficking. Truckers Against Trafficking goals: saturate trucking and related industries with TAT materials. Partner with law enforcement and government agencies to facilitate the investigation of human trafficking. Marshal the resources of partners to combat this crime. The Truckers Network proudly sponsors Truckers Against Trafficking and their efforts to fight against this heinous crime that's affecting hundreds of thousands of Americans each year. How truckers can help. Training video. Watch Truckers Against Trafficking's free training video and take the short quiz through their online portal. This will register you as an official TAT-trained, TAT-certified driver. Know the red flags. Download the Truckers Against Trafficking app and request a wallet card and window decal at tat.truckers@gmail.com. Share. Share Truckers Against Trafficking's training with others in person and through social media. How trucking companies, schools can help. Training video. Share Truckers Against Trafficking's free training video with your drivers. Request a digital file of your video or physical DVD from tat.truckers@gmail.com. Know the red flags. Tell your drivers to download the Truckers Against Trafficking app and or request wallet cards for your drivers from tat.truckers@gmail.com. Register. Register your company as trained to reflect your impact in the fight against trafficking and encourage others to do the same. This info blog was brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net.
Want to advertise on TNCRadio.Live? Take advantage of great discounts for 2021. Check out the sponsors page at TNCRadio.Live or send an email to info@TNCRadio.Live. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.Live. I'm Shelley Johnson here with Tom Kelly. And today we have the winners of the 2021 President's Choice Trucking Industry Trailblazer Awards from Real Women in Trucking. They are Jess and Brita. And we also have Idella Hansen with us from Real Women in Trucking. Anyway, we were talking with Jess as to how she got started in trucking. Brita, Nowak, I would like to talk with you. You've got quite the background, too. You were originally born in East Germany and you came to the United States. Did you always dream of being a trucker?
Yes. Hi.
Hello.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was born and raised in East Germany. That's correct. And yes, I actually always wanted to be a truck driver. I think from the time I was 4 years old. And of course, I put it on my back burner because life happened. So I came over here in 1992. And for the first 10 years, I was in the movie industry. It just really happened. I know other people try to make it happen. For me, it really just happened. But I always wanted to be a truck driver. So after 10 years, I said, that's it. I'm going to be a truck driver now. And in 2002, I got my CDL. And after 2 years driving for a company, I opened my own company. That was always the plan anyway, because I really love freedom. In the real sense of the word, I love freedom. So I wanted to book my own loads, drive my own truck wherever I wanted to go. I wanted to have my son with me over the summer when I wanted to. I didn't want to ask anybody for permission for anything. And that's when I also developed that sense of wanting to make trucking better. So that's where the Trailblazer comes in. Mm-hmm. When there's a new place to go that people maybe are hesitant to go to, or I will go. Or if there's a new law and I think it doesn't really have anything to do with trucking, I will speak up about it, and then it has to be modified, because there's always some person in an office who thinks, it would make it safer if we do this and this, without any reality behind it, with any real life experience.
Sure.
And so Real Women in Trucking really threw itself behind the parking situation, and the training situation in this industry. So, whatever I can do to help with that. I will uncover stuff that people don't want to talk about it.
Good for
Germans, European, we are very free about a lot of things. So why not be free about, the real issues in trucking, like parking and training.
Well, you're not afraid to speak up, and that's something that's super important, because change doesn't happen if you don't speak up.
Correct. You cannot just say, okay, that's the law now. All right, let's keep on going, or maybe go around it or whatever. No, speak up and say, this does not work the way you have intended it. So let's modify it. I'm not saying, the law is wrong. Just modify it, tweak it until it really makes sense in the real world, in Absolutely. The real truck stop, in the real truck, in the real road. Yes, that's all I'm saying.
And that's exactly what's needed, because there are a lot of times laws are made by people who have no clue. If they're sitting in an office, have they ever driven a semi? Do they know anything about it? And they need to have feedback from somebody who's out there. Absolutely.
Correct.
So I had a question. So you were in Hollywood, essentially, when you came over to the States.
Well,
this is intriguing.
Well, when I came over here, no, I wasn't in Hollywood yet. I came over in an airplane, and I was a nanny for a little while, and I actually got picked up on Sunset Boulevard. Some guy was handing out flyers saying, we need a whole bunch of people in the background for this movie called Airheads. Mm-hmm. And we just need people, just free food, and you get like $40 and come on down. And so I went there. I mean, why not, right? Sure. So I ended up 30 nights on that movie. 30 nights just standing in the background, waving, having free food, getting paid. And I thought, I like this. And so I signed up with an agency, and before you know it, I was working all the time. I had speaking parts. I was doubling people. I was doing stunts. I was doing anything I could get my hands on to pay the bills. And That's it was excellent. A good life, and I loved it. Yes.
What kind of stunts?
Oh, just falling down. Nothing. No, nothing. Not like Lee Majors. No. Okay. No, nothing like that. No, it was just, a stunt in the movie industry is anything, even just being pushed or falling down, or just it's really, it's not what people think. It's not flying up in the air. it's really just simple things like being pushed.
Okay.
So, yeah. No, that was not the bulk of my work at all. That just happened once in a blue moon. But those were my favorites, though, because I'm the trailblazer, give me something unknown. Give me something that I don't know yet, something that, is challenging. I'm going to do that.
Sure. It'd be exciting. Absolutely. So you did that for, you said, about 10 years?
10 years, yes.
Okay. And then you decided, I want to drive a semi, a big rig.
That's exactly how it happened. Yes. One day I said, that's it. And I got on the internet and just signed up with the first trucking company that offered training. And that was it.
And I'm seeing that it took about 2 years and you decided to become an owner operator.
Yeah, back then I was told that you needed to have 2 years of experience before an insurance company would even consider you. Mm-hmm. And I went with it. I followed the law, and to the day, exactly 2 years after I got my CDL, and I kept it clean, no tickets, no nothing. I opened my own company, Brat Cat Express, and never looked back.
Good for you.
So I've been in business now, 18 years, with a little break in between.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. So I would imagine that you've mentored various ladies too when they've thought about going into trucking, and you've been able to provide some good advice to them as well.
I would love to do that even more. I would love to actually have ladies on the truck here and train them and maybe employ them, but mostly pass on my knowledge, because I had the same truck for 14 years. And over the years, of course, more and more things broke on it. And I learned to get myself moving off the side of the road without calling a tow truck, to save money and to be safe. And I would like to pass these little MacGyverette tricks on. Seriously, it saves money, and it's very liberating, and it's a proud moment when you make it to the shop without a tow truck.
Oh, absolutely. And you do have to have a sense of innovation, I would imagine. And being a MacGyver probably does make sense. There is a place for a paper clip and a duct tape when you're going down the road.
Well, I think this sounds maybe strange, but my upbringing has a lot to do with that. I grew up in East Germany, so I always make jokes about it, because we wouldn't throw stuff away, because you could still use it for something else. You can recycle it into a different function. Sure. Because we grew up with very little. And you had to be innovative in that. So I have stuff on my truck here that maybe other people have absolutely no use for it, but I can stick it into my trucks at some point somewhere, and it will stop leaking fuel. Or I don't know, something, just because I kept it around. Yes, I think it's my upbringing.
There's a lot to be said for that. We are what our background is, and how we grew up. And we can take that and put that into a positive, and it can be part of our strength. And then we can teach other people. I mean, that's an important thing. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show. We're talking with the 2021 President's Choice Trucking Industry Trailblazer Award winners from Real Women in Trucking. I'm Shelly Johnson here with Tom Kelly. We're going to be doing some more chatting here. These ladies have some interesting stories, so definitely tune back in. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stay tuned on TNCRadio.Live.
This blog on TNCRadio.Live is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net for truck driving jobs for drivers under 21. So you just turned 18 and you're ready to find a job as a truck driver. But why is it so difficult? According to the United States federal law, a person must be 21 years old to drive a commercial vehicle in interstate commerce. Although you can obtain a CDL by the age of 18, you'll be limited to driving intrastate, and most trucking companies only hire drivers who are 21 years old or older. Also, insurance rates are much higher for trucking companies that employ drivers under the age of 21. But that doesn't mean there aren't truck driving jobs available before you turn 21. There are many jobs you can qualify for at just 18 years old. Although the majority of the truck driving jobs will be within your state lines, it's still a good idea to get your foot in the door and get a few years of experience before you turn 21. Under 21 Pilot Program. The FMCSA launched an Under 21 pilot program that helps Reserve and National Guard members ages 18, 19, and 20 explore civilian trucking careers. Commercial truck drivers are in high demand, and this program helps trucking companies hire disciplined and experienced drivers. For more information, visit www.fmcsa.gov/under21 military-drivers-info. Towing and recovery. Driving a tow truck is typically an intrastate job. While there's no age restriction, besides being 18 years old, some companies may still require you to be 21. Check with some of your local towing companies and ask what the age requirements are. Local delivery driver. Working as a local delivery driver is a great way to gain experience in your trucking career. You could start working for a local store or warehouse and deliver goods right to a customer's door. Here are a few places you can look for local delivery jobs: furniture stores, lumber yards, office supply stores. Dump truck driver. Driving a dump truck may not be your dream job, but it gets your foot in the door, and you can work close to home. Most local businesses will need dump truck drivers to move building materials, dirt, garbage, or other freight. Most truck driving jobs won't become available until you're 21, but you don't have to wait until then to start gaining experience. Getting a few years of experience on your resume before applying for big trucking companies will help during the hiring process. This blog on TNCRadio.Live is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net.
Enjoy the best in trucker-style music and comedy weeknights, starting at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on TNCRadio.Live.
You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show here on TNCRadio.Live. I'm Shelley Johnson with Tom Kelly, and we're talking with the 2021 President's Choice Trucking Industry Trailblazer Award winners, Jess Graham and Brita Nowak. We also have Idella Hansen from Real Women in Trucking here. This is a great set of awards that Real Women in Trucking give out every year. And I really can see, Jess and Brita, you have been champions and really you're great examples for other women drivers. What are some of the things that motivate you? What's your passion? Where do you think you could help other women? Where do you think there should be some change in the industry?
I think both of us would agree that the training, most of these companies that offer training, Brita and I went to the same company, and we're talking 12 years apart, and our experiences were exactly the same. And I think if it wasn't for our own drive and determination to succeed, we probably would have been the part of the 5 out of 6 women that fail in their first year as women drivers, because it left a lot of gaps in what we needed to prepare us correctly for out here on the road.
Does that happen more, do you think, with women than men drivers?
Because women tend to sit back and just accept what is handed to us and not question as much.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
That's kind of why I asked that question. I'm just wondering if women tend to end up having that situation because they aren't speaking up and saying, I need to know more, please, whereas, a guy might be more likely to say, I don't understand this. Please go over this with me because this is something that I need to have for my job.
I think that women get treated differently from the get-go. That's already a problem in itself, because many problems don't even arise between, let's say, 2 men drivers in a truck, trainer, trainee, both male. So many things, or so many problems don't even arise. But even now, after 20 years out here, I still get asked on the daily, oh, you're a driver? Or yesterday somebody asked, so you're loading in Chicago? Have you ever been to Chicago? So it automatically implies that they don't think we can do it. And so I can imagine when a female trainee goes on the truck, the male trainer, for instance, already has this notion that, oh my God, this is going to be double work for me. She'll never understand anything I'm going to tell her. So it already going in, there's the problem already. It's societal. So it needs to be changed from the ground up, right there. That the idea that a woman shouldn't even be in this business, or she probably won't understand anyway. That needs to be changed right there. It needs to be equal, right from the get-go. So now it isn't. So we need to make these male trainers understand that if a woman is already going this far to apply for a CDL, and then go to school, passes the test, and now it's ready to do this, there is already a commitment there. So she's already a different, made from a different fabric. So treat her like an equal, and that means the training of the trainers needs to be different.
Right.
The trainer needs to, but here in this industry, people go to school, then they go on a truck in a company, and then 6 months later they will be made trainers. No. Wow. I don't think that should even be allowed. But it's the routine. I think I have heard from many male drivers that, oh yeah, I started with this company, and 6 months later they made me a trainer. Isn't that great? No, that's not great.
Yeah, seems like they need to have a few years under their belt before they're
I think so too.
Instruction. Yeah.
Yes.
And what I find really mind-boggling is women statistically are safer drivers. Certainly
Correct.
Insurance companies will vouch for that. So for trainers to have this idea that, oh, geez, this little woman, she's not going to be able to do this. It's mind-boggling, especially in 2021,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stereotypes and preconceived notions people have. I know Brita and I, we're kind of polar opposites in some respects, but we have a lot of the same ways we approach things that are different. That if you're just looking at the stereotype of, me with my big behind and her with her blonde hair, neither one of us are supposed to do the job according to the stereotypes. Yet here we are. We're not just in the industry, but we are thriving and fighting and excelling at it.
Yeah. And that's why Real Women in Trucking is such a great organization, because it's getting out there saying, these stereotypes are not working, people. Come on. And creating the awareness that needs to be out there. And it's a champion for women who want to get into the industry, and they know that they're not alone.
Absolutely.
So Idella, when you first started in the industry, did you find, obviously, I don't think the organization Real Women in Trucking was out there. Where did you find your champions?
There wasn't any. I taught myself to drive. Every once in a while, I run up on somebody in a truck stop, or when I was out trying to fix my own truck, somebody would come along, give me a little advice. Now, I did have mechanics. Of course, we didn't have cell phones back then, I had some very good mechanics on my side that would tell me what I needed to know. I started out, running my own trucks and literally taught myself how to drive.
Wow.
So, no, I didn't have any mentors, one or two mechanics. And at the time I was driving, I was married to an outstanding mechanic, and he believed in everybody working. So bringing the truck home or having it towed, like Brita said, was out of the question. And I don't think in 52 years I've only been towed when we hit a deer and couldn't run the truck. So it has its advantages now. There's such a myriad of advice and resources out there.
Sure.
That
you didn't have. So you were essentially kind of on your own. You had a support system at home, which was good. And certainly some survival skills you probably learned.
Well, that support system fed his face, you know.
Oh, well, okay. So there was a mutual benefit there.
Yeah, it kept me going to feed his face. But yes, I did have a system, and I called on it. You know, I knew where to go and what to do, and who to call from the payphone, you know, that sort of thing. But as far as the rest of it, we just didn't have all of that. We just didn't. But now we would go in the truck stop and sit at the round table and do a little table trucking, and you got a little advice there and a little help there and referrals and places to stop. Everybody turns their noses up at that, but at that time, that's how we communicated.
Oh, sure. And it was effective, and it still is. You know, you've got that human interaction.
Absolutely.
And the other drivers can see, hey, you're a real person. And there's some degree of respect that comes with that, I think, when you've got your face-to-face.
No, absolutely. Well, I didn't have the advantage of being trained or going to school or anything like that. And when the CDL came around, I had to take the test just like everybody else. But I didn't have to do a pre-trip and grandfathered right on in. So I have learned a lot of things. And these young ladies right now, Brita, Jessie, they're teaching me things. I'm still learning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the industry has changed a lot, hasn't it? It's
absolutely.
It's not just paper logs to e-logs. It's changed all over the place.
You know, we would stop and help each other on the road. You broke down, somebody was going to stop and have a part or help you with something. Mm-hmm. That camaraderie hasn't changed. It's changed its hat. Now it's with internet, it's with social media, it's with cell phones, but it hasn't changed. There's still help out there. We're still helping each other. We've just changed the way we do it.
Which is important for people to know, and especially ladies that are thinking about getting into the industry. They're not going to be alone. They can reach out and somebody's going to say, hey, yeah, give me a call. I can walk you through this. And a lot of times that's all people really need, that encouragement, so that they know that they're not alone. You know, it's lonely enough being out on the road, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jess.
And I think that it helps to be open and receptive to accepting the advice of the matriarchs and having, listening to the experience of others, which can either help spring you forward, but it'll keep you going if you just listen to the experience of the matriarchs that have plowed the way for you.
That's right. That's why you're trailblazers, and hindsight's 2020, and you can share some of that. Your vision is a little clearer when you've had a little bit of experience under your belt. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show here on TNCRadio.Live. We're going to be back with more. Some great insight here. I'm Shelley Johnson with Tom Kelly. Stay tuned on TNCRadio.Live.
5 common health hazards truck drivers face. A healthy lifestyle is often overlooked by most truckers. Due to work conditions in the trucking industry, it's difficult for truckers to live a healthy lifestyle. Living on the road makes it hard for truckers to prioritize their health. Truck drivers have limited access to healthy food, lack of sleep, and exercise. Due to their work and living conditions, truck drivers statistically have more health problems. It's important for truck drivers to be aware of the common health hazards they face. To live a long, healthy life, truckers will have to focus on their health and make a conscious effort to be healthy. Sleep apnea. Sleep is crucial for truck drivers. Lack of sleep can make driving dangerous. A study shows that long-haul truck drivers obtain less sleep than the required amount for alertness on the job. Truckers need a good night's sleep to be fully alert and ready to take on the road the next morning. Getting a good night's sleep is crucial for keeping a truck driver alert and productive. Truck drivers travel several hundred miles each day. To reach their destination on time, they'll have to prioritize sleep so they can be alert and ready. Obesity. When you live in a tiny truck cab and drive for 11 hours a day, it becomes increasingly difficult to maintain a healthy lifestyle. As a result, obesity is a terrible problem that American truck drivers face. According to the American Dietetic Association, 86% of truck drivers are obese. Healthy food is hard to come by while driving and working on the road. Truck stops offer greasy, high-calorie food rather than healthy fruits and vegetables. It's important for truck drivers to be conscious of what they eat. There are many other health risks that come with fast food and truck stop food. High blood pressure, also known as hypertension, is a silent killer of both your health and trucking career. A poor diet, smoking, obesity, lack of exercise are causes of high blood pressure. Truckers need to be aware of the causes of high blood pressure and take necessary steps to avoid them. Not only does high blood pressure put your life at risk, it can also disqualify you from driving. Truckers with stage 3 hypertension, that's 180 over 110, are automatically disqualified. Depression. Truck drivers spend a significant amount of time away from home and their loved ones. They also work alone for 11 hours a day. It's not uncommon for truckers to start to develop symptoms of depression. Truck driving's not an easy job. It comes with a lot of stress and anxiety. Depression not only affects a person mentally, it also affects you physically. Depression affects your energy levels and the amount of sleep you get. It can also cause a change in appetite, headaches, and muscle aches. It's important for truck drivers to consider their mental health as well as their physical health. This blog on TNCRadio.Live is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net.
For the latest in Houston traffic, weather, news, and information, don't miss the Evening Surge on TNCRadio.Live. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.Live. I'm Shelley Johnson here with Tom Kelly. We're talking with the 2021 President's Choice Trucking Industry Trailblazer Award winners, Jess Graham and Brita Nowak. And we have Idella Hansen from Real Women in Trucking, who presented them with these awards. Idella, I understand that Real Women in Trucking is going to be going to Las Vegas this year to honor both the Trailblazers and the Queen of the Road Award winners. When's all of that fun going to be happening?
Well, we're going to be starting the awards, the Queen of the Roads and the Trailblazer Awards, which is the 5th Queen of the Road Award ceremony and Trailblazer Awards, is going to be on Saturday, August the 14th at 6:30. And we want to know everybody is invited to attend. And if the space is limited, so please email us RSVP to admin@realwomenintrucking.org or text 618-578-2491. Please let us know. Now, that being said, we're going to be starting, I believe, on Thursday night, and there's going to be pool parties. There's going to be all sorts of get-togethers, scavenger hunts, and it's time to make friends with these people. It's time to cement lifelong friendships face to face, because a lot of times we don't ever see each other. We just know each other on social media and through the telephone. So, and this year we'll be able to hug a little bit more. We won't have to be standing there waving at each other from across the water. So, that being said, we do want to especially tell everybody that Road Pro and Kim McDonald's from Road Pro has supported these ceremonies and gives us gifts and is our sponsor. And we couldn't do it without them. We just absolutely couldn't do it without them. So, and I believe that's all I got to say.
It sounds like it's going to be a blast. And what a great way to network. And you're absolutely right. This is forming lifelong friendships. You know, you're an extended family, and that's so needed. Especially, you know, you feel like you're connecting. You belong to something, and it really comes into reality when you can actually see the other person.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the first 20 years or 30 years of my trucking, I spent so much of my time going down the road. I didn't have anything to listen to because we didn't have audio books. And you were by yourself, and you did these scenarios in your head, and you took things and blew them up. So absolutely, I couldn't do without these ladies. None of these ladies. I couldn't do without. And Jess, like I said, as I hold Jess and Brita up as my highway heroes.
Well, like you said, they're carrying on the torch, and that's real important to keep championing the cause and making changes in the industry that are positive.
Absolutely. that's what we're all about. We're advocacy and education and lifelong friends.
That's real important. So, Jess and Brita, are you excited about going to Vegas?
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to hanging out with Brita. We want to get together for sure.
And seeing some of the sights in Vegas, maybe, and doing a little gambling and maybe even winning, because Vegas is obviously built on losers. They count on that. But it's a fun town.
Yeah. Maybe some dancing by the Bellagio fountain. I don't know. Wherever the weekend takes us. But what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
There you go. There you go. So, Brita, what do you plan on doing in Vegas?
I'm not much of a gambler, but I am a water rat. So I'm going to try out as many pools I can get my body on, I would say, not my hands, my body on. But anyway, yes, I would love to try out some really cool pools and network with the ladies by the pool. We have done that last year, even though it was limited because of the pandemic, but we managed anyway. And I love Las Vegas, even though I don't gamble, but I love it because it's just so entertaining and exciting. And there's always something to do where you can just meet up with people without spending a bunch of money. You just walk and look at stuff. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody again. And yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. So where do people reach Real Women in Trucking? So they can make contributions or get involved, any of that?
Well, they can email info at realwomenintrucking.org, or you can go to our website. And I'm pretty sure, and I'm not good with technology, but I believe down at the bottom of the page, there's a place to contact us and see if we could work something out to be a sponsor or to help us out in any way, shape, or form.
Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. For more information regarding our podcast, reuse, copyrights, etc., please visit our website, www.TNCRadio.Live.